Early morning. A kitchen in Osaka. A Japanese mother at the sink, her 4-month-old strapped to her chest in a cloth carrier. She is talking, not singing, not cooing, in a quiet, continuous voice, narrating what her hands are doing. The water is warm today. This bowl is the one we got from your grandmother. There's a small chip on the edge. I always wash it carefully because of that. The baby's eyes track her mouth, not understanding a word. She was building his vocabulary before he had words. Japan ranks second in the world in mathematics and third in reading and science. Not because of genetics, because of what happens in Japanese homes before a child ever enters a classroom. In the first 12 months of life, in a kitchen, at a low table, on a tatami floor. By the end of this video, you'll have 3 things you can start tomorrow. And I'll be honest, one of them I find the most unnatural to do consistently, even knowing everything I know about why it matters. We'll get to it last. What I'm about to share will be simple, uncomfortably simple, because the thing that builds IQ in the first year of life doesn't cost anything. It is already in your voice, your kitchen, and your arms. I know what you might be thinking. I already talked to my baby. How is this different from what I'm already doing? Here's what the research shows. Researchers at the University of Kansas tracked children from infancy to age 3 and found that IQ correlates more strongly with the words heard than any other single factor. And not just word count, but the complexity and vocabulary richness of adult-directed language. By age 3, some children have heard millions more words than others. Years later, those differences show up in vocabulary tests, reading scores, and IQ measurements. Not baby talk, real language. The architecture of your baby's future vocabulary is being built right now, from the actual words in your mouth. The question isn't whether we talk to our babies. The question is, what language are they building their brain from? It starts with one word, and that word is Katarikake. The first word is Katarikake, written in Japanese with 2 elements. Ga, which combines yen, speech rising from a mouth, with gu, meaning oneself. The words that come from one's own mouth. Then kake, from the verb kakeru, to direct toward, to lean with intention toward a specific person. Together. The act of directing your own words toward someone with full presence, not talking near a baby, leaning toward them. The reach of one mind toward another before the other mind can answer. Here's the philosophy. Japanese mothers narrate their caregiving in complete adult sentences from birth. Many begin in the hospital room. Not simplified, not cooed, full language, temperature, texture, color, memory, plan. The Japan Ministry of Health explicitly recommends Katarikake from birth. It is institutionalized, ordinary. The single highest leverage action a parent can take in the first year, and it costs nothing but a voice. Now think about what we typically reach for instead. We buy the educational app because she needs to be ready. We give him the rice cereal because the package said so. We put her in the bouncer because we need a moment. That's because we've been trying to buy the thing that was already in the room. The toy chest is full. The vocabulary is not. Japanese parents do the opposite. They ask a question we almost never think to ask. Not what educational content should I give my baby, but what language is my baby's brain building itself from, right now? A Japanese mother at a low table. Her 5-month-old in a high seat in front of her. The first food is not sweet, not white. It is a small ceramic bowl of pale dashi broth with soft white fish dissolved into it. The baby's face shifts, surprised, not distressed, curious, leaning toward the spoon. This is the first entry of DHA into a brain that has been waiting for it. The word is Shokuiku. Most parents think a baby's first foods are about calories. Japanese nutritionists think they're about brain architecture, and the research confirms which one is right. Two characters. Shu, which combines rin, a person, with yong, meaning good and adequate, a person being nourished adequately, and zu, which depicts a child head down at birth, a body growing. The raising of a body from food, from the beginning. Together, nourishing the body from food, from birth. Feeding is formation. What you eat is part of what you become. Here's what happens neurologically when parents apply this to the first year. The developing brain is approximately 60% fat, and 40% of those fats are polyunsaturated, primarily DHA. DHA is the structural material of neural tissue. Researchers call it the brain-building fatty acid. A 2007 Lancet study of nearly 12,000 pregnant women found that children of mothers who ate the most seafood had measurably higher verbal IQ at age 8. There was no upper limit of benefit. And children of mothers who ate no seafood were 48% more likely to score in the lowest quartile for verbal IQ. Think about that for a second. Japan's mothers consume 4 to 6 times more fish daily than American mothers. That gap doesn't stay in the mother. It transfers to the breast milk, and from the breast milk to the brain being built. So starting this week, replace one sweet puree with a dashi-based food. Soft white fish thinned with kombu broth. Or one serving of salmon weekly in place of rice cereal. Small shift, structural difference. Here's where Western assumptions about Japanese parenting usually break down. People often assume that because Japanese parents are so devoted to language and nutrition, the close physical contact, the constant carrying, the co-bathing, the skin-to-skin hours, is simply cultural warmth, a preference, a tradition. The opposite is true. The third concept is skinship. Skin, sukin, skin from English. Shippu, shippu, ship, as in kinship, friendship. A bond, a state of being. Coined in Japanese parenting literature in the 1950s, a bond made through skin. Here's my honest opinion. Skinship is the most underestimated concept in early childhood development in the Western world, because we have recategorized it as comfort when it is actually cognition. A baby separated from human contact for extended periods releases cortisol, the brain's stress hormone. And chronic cortisol in the first year actively interferes with prefrontal cortex development, the region responsible for language processing, memory, and reasoning. This is the region Katarikake is trying to build. This is the region Shokuiku is trying to feed. Skinship is what clears the interference so the building can happen. Every hour of skin contact is an hour the brain's energy is redirected from stress regulation to cognitive architecture. It lives at a cellular level, written into the brain before a word is spoken or a first food swallowed. A baby in a bouncer is a brain in survival mode. A baby in your arms is a brain that can afford to grow. So the next time you reach for the bouncer, pause. Pick them up instead. 30 minutes of skin contact in place of 30 minutes in a seat. Do that once a day for 2 weeks. Watch what changes in the quiet alertness of their eyes. Now, the one I told you I find the most unnatural to do consistently. It's Katarikake. Talking to a baby in full adult sentences about the temperature of dishwater. It feels like theater. There is no social permission for it in Western culture. No one around us does it. The baby cannot answer, and every instinct says, "This is strange." But that strangeness is exactly the resistance to push through. Because the baby isn't watching a performance. The baby is building a vocabulary from your words, right now. Now, I want to be honest, because this matters. Katarikake happens more naturally inside a culture that has always normalized talking to babies as equals. Most Western parents have never been given permission to do it. There is no model for it in our daily lives. I'm not asking us to go Japanese. I'm asking us to take the principle. And this practice requires nothing but your voice, starting tomorrow. So here's your practical takeaway. Tomorrow morning, during one ordinary caregiving task, a bath, a diaper change, breakfast while your baby is in the carrier, narrate out loud in complete adult sentences. Not bath. Now I'm running the warm water over your feet. Feel how warm that is? I used to love when my grandmother did this for me. It will feel strange. Do it anyway. Do it every day. Without pressure. Without reward. Just repetition. Just expectation. Just trust. Your baby's eyes will deepen. The mouth tracking will increase. The quiet alertness will extend. These are the measurable signs of rich language reaching a developing brain. Every word you say today is part of the 30 million they need to hear before age 3. Give it 3 weeks. Watch who your baby starts to become. Katarikake, words directed with intention. Shokuiku, food that forms the brain. Skinship, contact that clears the way to grow. These aren't Japanese secrets. They're human truths, and they're available to every parent, starting today. Western babies are surrounded by intelligence tools. Japanese babies are surrounded by intelligent humans. The difference in IQ starts there. If this video gave you something to think about, share it with another parent who needs to hear it. If you want more on how the infant brain actually builds itself, the voice, the food, the arms, subscribe. There is a lot more coming. See you in the next one.